Hey y'all, it's Diane with Shawcraft One and my old barn door, and I am back with the flip through of the new Pillsbury family cookbook. So I just have it tied with this really pretty lace, and I'm going to go ahead and untie it so that I can show you everything in the journal. So I just have this quilted fabric on the spine of the journal, and then on the back I just kind of left it plain. So inside, it's really tactile. There's lots and lots of lace and ribbons and fabrics and goodness. And so we're just going to get right into it, okay? This one has alligator mouth too. However, once you get the journal and you start playing with it and moving things around, that will kind of relieve itself. So inside, the inside front cover pocket is made out of some vintage quilt that is hand stitched. So I just cut up the quilt, sewed around the edge of it to keep it together, and then added it in as a pocket. Inside the pocket, I have a couple of big size journaling cards for you. This is from my Autumn Farms digital kit, and then this one is so super cool. It is an extremely old little cookbook pamphlet. You can tell how yellow it is. There's lots of vintage items in this journal. This one is from, I know there's a date in here. Okay, this one is from July of 1959. And y'all, the colors in this little pamphlet are so stinking cool. I love this, and I love how yellow the whole little pamphlet is. So whoever gets this journal, just be careful with it because it's a little bit fragile, but it is super cool. I fell in love with it when I saw it. And this was at a thrift store. They were going to throw it away. So I saved it. And then you have book jewelry all throughout the book as well. So I made you a little pretty little piece of book jewelry on a ball pin here, and then you have the little dangle at the bottom. Hopefully you can see that okay. Alright, so we're just going to get started with the flip through. I'm going to flip through pretty quickly, okay, because I've talked a lot today. I've done a lot of videos today, and I know you guys don't want to hear me run my mouth. So you have a vintage rooster playing card that I've just added some little ribbon to. This is from my Autumn Farms digital kit. This is a children's book page envelope that I made, and then inside I stuffed you a vintage recipe and some vintage wallpaper pieces for you to play with in there. Let me get those back in there. This is actually a vintage, this was from a different vintage cookbook. And so the papers are really yellowed, and then they glued in, I love this, they glued in some little recipes, and so you can see the yellowing from where one was glued in on the page next to it. So really cool vintage recipe pages. And then this is some design, this is from actually 7 Gypsies. Fold this out, you have a chenille pocket. I love the chenille. And then inside the pocket you have a bingo card, and then one of my little tags that I made. This is from my I think this is from my sewing digital kit that I have. I have a scripture. This is the very beginning of the book. Let me see if I can get a date for you. It looks like the second printing, 1974. You have a journal card from my Autumn Farms digital kit. One of those really cool long recipe pages. Vintage plain card with some ribbon. This is a vintage page from one of my Alice and Jerry books. I love how the coloring of the paper. Some vintage wallpaper that I have this in packs in my shop. And then you have lots of fabric sewn on the edges, and you have lots of book jewelry as well added to the fabrics and ribbons that are sewn on the edges of the pages. This is a piece of sweater that my friend Leslie sent me, and she said, you know, what would you do with this? Would you? And I told her I'd make pockets, and she said, well, I thought it would be too thick, but I think it turned out super cute as a pocket. So I just kind of sewed it onto the page. You want to sew it to some thicker paper. You know, you don't want it on really thin paper, but it works out really well for a pocket. And then you have a little charm on a bulb pin just to decorate that little pocket up. And then I stuffed these pockets. So you have one of my little tiny glassine bags that I have in my shop. And I just put you some little extra things to decorate in your journal with. These are little die cuts. You have a little playing card, one of my John Deere playing cards that my friend Tina sent me. Pretty little journaling card. You have a scripture, a little strip of tickets, some more little pieces to decorate with, a couple more scriptures. I put you all kinds of goodness in here. This is a vintage stationery envelope and stationery paper inside. So I'm telling y'all, I stuffed these pockets to the gills. And then you have some really pretty dangles sewn here. And I love that some of the pages the little lady who owned this book wrote in. So I tried to add those pages back in to the journal. So I'm going to try and flip through and not talk as much, guys. This is from Seven Gypsies. Some vintage ribbon that I ruffled down the edge with a bead book jewelry on there. This is one of the snippets that Sarah sent me. She has these in her shop. She is Me and My Son Treasures. I'll try to remember to put her link down below. Go check her out. But I made a little pocket out of it and then stuffed it with some of the extra strips of paper from the pages that I used in here. Then you have one of my recipe cards from Seven Gypsies and a scripture. Childcraft book page. Super cute children's book page. And then this is some of that vintage ledger paper that I got from Brooke. This one dates back to June of 1896. This is true vintage stuff in here, you guys. You guys are getting lots and lots of goodness with these books. This is from my Autumn Farms digital kit with a scripture clipped on and a little vintage playing card. Super cute little tiny playing card there. Some Seven Gypsies paper. This flips out. And I made you a cute little tip in here with a couple of different kinds of fabric and ribbons. And then you have a fabric pocket here with a chenille pocket on top. I put one of my little clusters. And then I just stuffed the little pages or the little pockets with little snippets from the papers that I used in this journal. So, and then you have a journal card from my Autumn Farms digital kit, and then a cool little journal card from Seven Gypsies. I made an envelope from a children's book page, and I just stuffed it with some extra little goodness in there. I'm not going to pull everything out. You'll see it when you get it. You'll love it, I promise. Cute little teeny tiny playing card. This is from one of my Helen Steiner Rice books. This is some of that vintage wallpaper. I just had a little strip left, so I added it in. This is another one of those pages from that vintage recipe book. This is a page from a vintage children's magazine that I got from Brooke. Dates back to March of 1951. So I didn't want to cut it, so I just kind of folded it in, and then you can do with it, you know, what you will. I'm going to flip through fairly quickly. Cool little Coca-Cola playing card. I thought that was perfect for a farm style journal. Got you some little pom-pom trim here, and then this beautiful chenille. I love it, with a bead charm here on a bulb pin. Stuffed this with a vintage children's playing card. This is one of those homemade bridge tally card things that I got from Sarah's shop. And then this is a little journal card that I made on my computer with a scripture on it. And a little catalog card that I made on my computer. You have a scripture there and some extra journaling sheets there. Again, I'm not going to take everything out of the journal, but you can see it. This is some beautiful vintage fabric that I found at a thrift store that I just ruffled down the page, and then you have some book jewelry there. Another one of those vintage pages from that recipe book. Super cool Norman Rockwell playing card. I love Norman Rockwell. This is some really old music paper that's handwritten, and you can kind of feel where they wrote on the back. So be very careful with this page. It's very fragile. It's very old. And then, of course, one of my workbook pages that's got farmhouse stuff on it. A page from a thesaurus. children's dictionary page from a little golden book. This was from 1981, but you can see it was in pretty rough condition. But I put it in here so you can cut out and make tags or whatever out of the definitions. Some more from that vintage recipe book where she sewed in or glued in her little recipes. From my Autumn Farms digital kit. And on the back you have a plain card, children's book page. This was actually a pot holder that my friend Rose sent me. Thank you, Rose. And I stuffed it. Guys, look, I stuffed you lots of extra little fabric in here to play with in your journal. So you get that. This one flips out. This is from the Jerry and Alice book. Very vintage children's reader. Very vintage dictionary page. And then my friend Tammy at OKC sent me this, or My World in OKC, and so I made a little pocket here with it. It's kind of loose, so I didn't put a lot of stuff in it, but I did put you some vintage wallpaper or wallpaper border, super pretty to go with the farm style theme, a quote, and one of my journaling cards from my Autumn Farms digital kit. Some of the original book pages. Autumn Farms digital kit. Then on the back you have a paper clip with a scripture and a bridged tally sheet. Love this. Have some vintage lace sewn there with some book jewelry. Uh-oh, everything fell out. Of course it did because I'm on video. This is another one of those things that my friend Leslie sent me and said, what would you do with this? So I sewed it in and made a pocket. It's embroidered. It's absolutely beautiful. It's very vintage. And then I stuffed the little pocket with just some little journaling cards, one of my tags from my sewing digital kit, and then a little scripture. I had so much fun making these books, guys. This is a map page pocket that my friend Leslie sent me. So you just got a little recipe card and a little journaling card in there, and I thought that was super cute because I'm from Georgia, you know, and they call us Georgia Peaches, so added a little bit of me in there. Vintage children's book house page, vintage music, ledger paper, oops, Autumn Farms digital kit. This is from my favorite childcraft book. The little plain card. Another one of those pages from that vintage recipe book. This I made a pocket out of the same material that I used in the binding, and I let it hang over a little bit just for added interest. And then I just stuffed the little pocket with scriptures and some receipts, and this is a cool little old vintage ledger page. It's from a children's book. 7 Gypsies paper, and then I sewed in a quilted pocket here. Put you some book jewelry on there, and then I put a vintage postcard, couple of vintage holy crow, couple of vintage postcards and a scripture in there. And then Laura sent me this beautiful, beautiful crocheted piece, and so I cut a piece of it and made a pocket, and inside I stuffed it with some little pieces of chenille and some strips from that vintage quilt for you to play with in your journal. Autumn Farms digital kit with a quote. And then here's another one of those sweater pocket, sweater pockets that I made. Put you a little pin on there as decoration, and some book jewelry. And then inside the pocket you have a little journaling card with the cow, another journaling card, just a couple of things to play with, scripture, and then this is a real vintage receipt from a dairy from my friend Leslie, who it was actually her family's dairy. So thank you so much, Leslie, for sharing those with me, and I can't wait till you get your shop open so I can come and shop and get some more. So super cute vintage plain card. I made this envelope from a children's book page and just put you a scripture and a tag in there. Another one of those vintage ledger papers that I got from Brooke. That one's from 1896. Just put you a little altered paper clip with a little die cut for you to decorate in your journal. And on the back side you have a scripture on there. And then on this one, I made one of those little pockets out of the brown paper bags because I had went to the store that day, and so I just used the bag. So I put one of my clusters on the front, and then you have some creeples in here. These are Tim Holtz people. I think they're creepy, so I think I heard Brooke call them creeples, and it just went. So you have a vintage phone call, notepad, a quote, just some extra little scrappy embellishment there. And then you have a little alterations card in the top pocket, and then this one is actually 3 pockets. And then in the very top you have another scripture and a little time card. So I'm not going to take all of that out. Then you have some really pretty lace sewn on the edge of this page. This is from my friend Nan. Thank you so much, Nan. I love all the lace you sent me. And then it has some book jewelry on the lace. And then on this one, I made a pocket out of burlap with some strips from the quilted spine, and then a piece of chenille, and I put a little piece of book jewelry on there. And then inside the pocket, you have one of my little collage tags that I made. I think I made that on camera with you guys too. A scripture, a journal card from my Autumn Farms digital kit, another little journaling card, and another little scripture. So I literally stuffed all of these pockets so full. So hopefully you guys will love them because I had so much fun stuffing the pockets. Another one of those pages from that vintage recipe book. Some vintage wallpaper. And then this is the back. This has my patch. I always try to make a little pocket out of my patch. And I just put you a little journaling card in there. And another little piece and a scripture. And then this is another vintage quilt that I made a pocket out of, and so I stuffed another scripture in there. And then I got this little tag from Brooke. She sent it to me as a gift. Thank you, Brooke. And inside it has a couple of pockets, so you have some true vintage, a true vintage button card in there. And then in the very top pocket you have a tag and then one of those little Rolodex cards. So that is all stuffed into there. And then you have another one of those little vintage guest checks. And that is the Pilsbury cookbook, the new Pilsbury family cookbook. So that is that one. So go over and check it out in my shop if you love it and want to get it. You better snatch it quickly because, like I say, these usually go pretty fast. When I put these in my shop, they go really fast. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave any comments or questions that you have in the comment box below. And thank you for watching, you guys. I really appreciate you. Hope you have a great week. And I'm sending you big hugs and lots of love. Thanks.